or investments or getting out of debt or what we do in general, or even working with us, right? If your belief isn't there, you're never going to close anybody. Don't even worry about it, right? And there's a few things you need to understand. Number one is what is really the purpose of auto insurance, home, cell, right? Everything we protect, right? Is to replace. Replace a car, replace a home, replace, right? You don't replace life, you replace money. Families need to understand that, right? Understand you are the biggest asset to your family. A lot of people don't realize that. I always ask, when I get to the point where they don't really understand what's happening, I'll ask them, you know what, let me ask you something. What is your biggest asset, right? And most people would tell you their home. In fact, it isn't. It is you, your ability to get up every morning and go out to work and make money. If you can't do that, or if that stops, everything else stops, right? So your life, financially speaking, goes through two stages in life, right? First, where you're the biggest asset, and second, where you have created assets, so now that has to be protected. That is what? The theory of decreasing responsibility. That's what that discusses. When you cover the theory of decreasing responsibility, that's what you go through. I don't know if I can write on here. Yeah, I cannot write, but normally when you look at that, when you remember in the beginning part of the theory to decreasing responsibility, Jenny, that's you, girl?
Yeah, that's me. I'm trying to let you write.
Oh, how do you do all that stuff? Where's my overhead projector? That's all I want. So what do I do here?
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. Okay, cool. So when you think about the theory of decreased responsibility, this is awesome, right? And, we look at two stages of life. Here, biggest asset. Oops, hold on, not biggest ass, hold on. Your biggest asset is you. That's it. In the future, after you've developed and you grew assets, then it becomes, whether it's your money, whether it's your homes, your business, all of that. You have to protect both. First, you do it with life insurance, right? Because that's the way you protect the income. And then you do it with something called annuities and different methods of protection. That's why term is appropriate, by the way, in every single situation. If you understand this part here, right? So you have to know that as a pro, as a professional. Okay, go back to the screen, love. Can I do it, or how does it work?
You have to undo the whiteboard, and then I can screen share again.
Okay.
There you go, Gabe.
Awesome.
Yes, Dave. Yes, Gabe.
This is the new age overhead projector. That's what I like. Right? So that's something you guys need to understand, huh? So, and then, at the end, look, it is why you're, you are out of your mind, and you have to believe this. If you have a family, especially, and you don't have life insurance and you're not investing money, 10 to 20% of your income, right? Until you hit your target net worth, right? So these are things that you need to first understand. This is the foundation before you can understand how to overcome some of these objections. So go ahead. Thank you. So the first one, I want to think about it, right? You're going to get this a lot, right? And then you can ask, be very, and this is from really Jen Lee. I've used this more recently. And it's gold. What is it? What is it that you're thinking about? Is it more me? Is it the company? And notice the tonality I stated that in, right? They say 93% of communication is tonality and body language, right? And let them answer that, right? The act of you wanting to protect your family. Now notice that last one can be a little bit direct, and some people might take it personal, but it's a real question, right? Is it me? Is it the company? Or maybe the act of protecting your family, right? Level with me. Is it just the money? Right? Because it can be the act of protecting your family, right? It shouldn't be that, right? It could potentially be you, or maybe even the company, but you would have overcome that before as part of the presentation, if that is the case. This is more of a rhetorical question, because in most cases, it's really the money. That's what it comes down to. So if the next question becomes, I don't have the money, right? Look, I understand that, what you're saying. However, early on, you did say that you spend about $20 a day, or about $600 a month when you calculate it out. And I don't want to spend any more than you already are spending, right? Because that's the reality. And by the way, you got that from where? when you're going over the compound interest slide, right? You're asking those types of questions. You're kind of giving yourself ammunition for later if you need it, like now, right? Look, I just want to take some of what you already use, put it towards something that's better for your family. Doesn't that make sense? Right? Ask that question at the end. Now, I'll give you a quick. I used this a couple of years ago with a good friend of mine from high school. He's a detective in New York City, and he made good money. Has 5 children at the time. I think he has 6 now. And I remember sitting down with him, and he was just arguing about it and fighting and all that stuff. And finally, we got to the point where it was just spending the money. And I asked him, "Listen, do you waste money?" And I'll go through that process with him. He said, "Absolutely." I said, "Look, allow this $100 a month," because that was the cost of his insurance at the time. "Allow this $100 a month, the best wasted money you'll ever spend." And he said, "You know what? I got it." And he got the policy. Right? You sometimes just have to be real with people. And if you're sitting down with people you know and you care about, don't be afraid of having that conversation with them. Because they'll call you the next day to go and spend money on the club. People go to clubs anymore, or they do a Zoom now, right? They still go spend money in the club. They still go spend money on nonsense every day. Challenge people. Don't be afraid of that, right? And if you're willing to pay for a car insurance, this last part here, I trained on this a couple weeks ago in regards to the things you can, when you sometimes dollarize life insurance or dollarize your value as far as it pertains to money, it sometimes makes more sense. For example, I'll go through the process and I'll say to them, "Listen, when you think about the money you spend on all kinds of insurances, car insurance, right? The average car is about 20 grand. Most people I know here in New York, maybe a little bit less in other states, it's about $200 a month. So you spend $200 a month to protect a $20,000 vehicle. You spend about $150 to $200 a month to protect a $300,000 home. And you'll even spend $15 to $20 a month to protect a $1,000 piece of equipment, your cell phone." See, people can relate to that. You're dollarizing it for them. Now, what is your life worth? And I understand, right? The reason I bring this up first, I understand, I know it's invaluable because people will tell you that, okay? But we can still dollarize our lifestyle, right? If you make 50 grand a year and you work for the next 40 years from the age of 25 to 65, you earn $2 million in a lifetime. By the way, dollarizing it like that for people, it gives them such a huge perspective. Think about that. In your lifetime, Shondell, you're gonna make way more than that, but most people, $2 million in their lifetime. And to them, that's a freaking ton of money. That's a lot of money when they hear it that way. Doesn't it make sense to spend $50 a month to protect that for your family? You're spending less than 1% a month to protect 100% of your income. At the end of the day, isn't your family more valuable than your car, your home, or any other thing we have? Especially when the cost of protecting that is less. Right? And be real with them. Have an honest, open conversation. Look, at some point, you got to be a pro, man. You can't be afraid to stir the pot. You can't. As long as your intent, I tell people all the time, communication in any type of relationship is about 2 major parts: the manner in which you communicate and the intention in which you're using when you're communicating. Right? What is your intention in this? If it's to protect the family, do the right thing, don't be afraid to challenge people sometimes. Don't be afraid to do that. Next. So another thing in regards to, I found something cheaper. A couple of things you need to know. If you're a trainer, even if you're starting to be a soloist, here's some things you need to know. Number one, mortality tables are federally regulated, meaning the insurance companies, when they look at determining costs, they all look at the same exact table. So the cost of insurance doesn't change by much, everything else being the same, right? Same age, same person, same health situation, same time they got it, right? It may range between $3 to $5 to $10, depending on the age they are, right? In regards to getting the same product, same cost. So that's something you need to understand. In other words, if you hear a $20, $30, $40 difference in coverage, even though it's the same coverage, it's a different product, okay? Second, and that's what leads me to the number 2, the level period of the term does make a difference, right? You cannot compare $500,000 10-year level term to $500,000 30-year level term in the same cost. It's not the same product. Hey, they give me $500,000. You're telling me $60 a month, but they're telling me 20. It's a different product, I promise you. They probably got a 10, 15-year level term. I'm giving you a 30-year level term, and that's critical. Why? It gives you enough time to replace it with money, right? That's the main reason. 3, for most companies, term product is actually a loss leader. Does anybody know what that is? What's a loss leader in sales, in marketing? A loss leader, when you think about the actual definition, it is a company's willingness to charge less and to lose money on a product to get you into a different product. In the life insurance industry, the term product is the one that they're willing to charge you less, relatively speaking, right, when actuarial numbers come out, so that they can get you into what? A whole life policy. They'll sell you a 1-year level term, a 5-year level term, a 10-year level term. Give you $100,000, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 of coverage, where the cost is a fraction. To what though? To eventually get you into the whole life product. So they're willing to charge you less on purpose, so they convert you into something else later. And the other part, guys, half the battle is having the right product, right? Even if you have term, awesome, you got the right product. But the other half is who's fighting for you during the claim process if, God forbid, something were to happen. That's the other half of the battle, right? Something, God forbid, happens to my brother. Who in the world you think is going to fight for him and make sure that that money comes? Nobody else is going to fight harder than you, family, relatives, and loved ones. No one, period. Right? That's important to understand, okay? And move on. So I found something cheaper. Look, many times with other terms, you have to reprove your health, and that's true. A lot of times, ours up to the age of 95, you don't ever have to prove insurability, regardless of how long the length of term is. All of our policies. Some companies also have it to the age of 80. Not all of them do 95. Most that actually, you don't have to prove insurability would be to the age of 80, okay? Now, a lot of them don't have that. Once the term is up, you got to reprove your health again. You got to start the process again, right? And for some of you, that have been with us for a long time, I see your health has not looked, the same. So that's important to understand, right? Besides, Chandel, I hate her because she always looks good, right? I mean it, Mike. I mean it in the right way, all right, brother? I got my own boo, all right, who looks better than her. But anyway, so, things don't always go as planned. They just don't, right? Things change. Health changes. Right? Having, 5-year level term, if you're 30 years old, or you're a 10-year level term, it's not the same 10 years from now. Right? Would you rather have to convert to cash value, which is 10 times more expensive, or able to convert to a new term? By the way, even in the exam book, they say that you can only convert from term to a cash value. Primerica, as far as I know, is the only company that allows you to convert from term to term. No other company, even in group life, if you have it through work, when they usually buy it as a whole life, it's always converted to another cash value policy, right? And then the theory of decreasing responsibility. If you have assets, do you really need to pay for life insurance anymore? Guys, man, learn and master the theory of decreasing responsibility. Our whole business is predicated on knowing really that 5-minute presentation. If all you have is 5 minutes to create enough value and you do that properly, there's nobody that should not sit down with you afterwards. It just makes sense, right? So know the life, the theory. And then what happens when my term ends? Insurance is like just car insurance, medical, home, right? If you pay for it and you are covered, right? To me, that always bothers me when people ask me that, right? Now, I obviously have to respond the right way. Look, think about it. If you pay for your car 20 years with Geico, let's say, and you never get into an accident, you think the company's going to give you all your money back? And I'll stop. I'll literally wait for an answer, and I'll look at them. Because the answer is always no. They leave and laugh. Of course not, right? It's just in case, right? That's what it's protected for. The insurance company, you're protecting the what if crap happens. right? No life insurance pays you money back. If anyone says that, they're lying to you or you're paying a ton of money for it, right? We pay for life insurance for our family just in case stuff pops off. That's it. That's it. So please understand that. So that's why let's pay it as shortest time as possible, get the highest coverage possible, and let's focus on replacing it with money. Let's focus on replacing it with money as quickly as possible. That's what we need to say. And I think that's it for now. Hope that helped, guys.
That was so funny and hilarious and great at the same time. I was cracking up. You guys are going to each other. Good thing I don't have a spouse right here, so y'all can't come with me. I'm single as a Pringle right here, guys. I'm just joking. This recording is going to be great. So anyways, back to seriousness. So what Shondell and Gabe just went over is how to close getting on the appointment, how to close at the appointment. Now you got to close so that you can be able to keep going on appointments, right? You keep having numbers, because a lot of the problems that we have, like Shaq said, in advanced training, either last training or the second 2 trainings ago for advanced training, is that we just have a list problem, right? In a restaurant, we have inventory, meaning the food. The car dealership has inventory, meaning the cars, the vehicles. But here, our inventory is our names and numbers. So if you don't have names and numbers, and you're not good at continuously earning more names and numbers, aka introductions to other people, then you're just not going to have names and numbers to call. And some people, they make the biggest mistake. They try to keep calling their same people all the time. Okay, all the time. And they try to say different things to the same people. You're not going to be able to build your business trying to say different things to the same people. You're going to build your business by saying the same things to different people. And some people, they say the most craziest thing, such as, I don't have any numbers to call. That is not true. I don't have anyone to call. That's not true. That's not true. Because guess what? If I go to Google right now, right, and I say the population of DC right now, it is 692,000. You're telling me, Mr. New Recruit, Mrs. New Recruit, Mrs. New Soloist, Mr. New Soloist, you don't have anyone to call, and there's 600, almost 700,000 people walking around you? You mean to tell me you don't go to the grocery store and talk to the cashier at all, right? You mean you can't tell me that, right? If you're saying that to yourself, take that out of your vocabulary, because now you're accepting your situation of why you can't do something versus how you can do something, right? It's not I can't do it, I don't have it. It's how can I get it done, right? So when you're obviously you have to call the people you know first, and reach out to people initially to get referrals. So getting referrals has a lot to do with credibility, guys. This comes back to how good are you at building relationships, right? Do people like you? Are you, do you have a friendly type of personality? Are you approachable? Do you smile, right? Do you smile? I know, the guys that work directly with me, our core group, you guys don't get the friendliness all the time from me, but when I'm out and about, it's like, yeah, I'm smiling all the time. Even when I'm on Zoom and it's silent, my best friend comes on a Zoom to see our training, and she's like, all I hear is music, and all I see is you smiling. Yeah, you should, right? When you come onto Zoom, you are a part of the environment. You should smile. That's part of you building rapport with people. People like to be around positive people like that. So you're going to be more likely to get referrals if you create that aura of yourself, right? It's an energy. It's a choice. So getting referrals has a lot to do with credibility. If you're not getting referrals, you do not have credibility with that person, at least not yet. And that's not an attack personally to you. It's just the way it is. Every single one of us, me, Gabe, and Shondell, we have people we're credible with. We have people we're not credible with. So to each is his own. You're not going to be credible with everybody, and you have to accept that. And that's a challenge for you to build a relationship better with that person. You will not get referrals if they do not trust or know you well, right? That's why we go through hot or warm market. In the fast start meeting, I always ask the new recruit that is about to set QAs with me, I always ask, hey, Mr. and Mrs. New Recruit, who would you rather make your mistakes in front of for your training? People that know you and know you're not trained yet, or people that don't know you and are ready to invest 100,000 on the spot? The recruit, you know what they always say? Oh, people that know me. And people that know you, isn't it true that they'll give you better referrals than people who don't know you? You know what the recruit says? Yeah.